Hello, Single Family Summit viewers. Mike Grady here again, and today I would like to introduce you to BobbiJo.Justice. How you doing,
Hi,
Bobby?
Mike, how are you?
Good. BobbiJo.Justice is an investor team lead for First International Title. She has over 19 years of title experience, and BobbiJo focuses on helping clients grow with leads, marketing, and the resources they need to increase their business. So welcome, BobbiJo.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
So let's just jump right in and start at the beginning. What do you do at First International Title?
Well, I'm investor team lead. So my job is to bring in more investor clients and actually business development in general. So I also work with realtors and lenders as well, bringing in those clients and helping them to get more business and hopefully get some more contracts in for us to close them.
Gotcha. So if you're looking to work with investors, are you only looking in Florida? Because your company is international, I understand.
Well, we say international. I wish we were really global. However, we have Florida and New York. Those are our two operations. We were in Texas. We sold it right before COVID. I always ask my CEO if he had like a magic 8 ball because he sold it right before everything happened. So, but no, we're just in Florida, New York right now. Gotcha.
Okay. So why did you choose the title industry as a profession?
Well, kind of chose me. I always tell this story when I get interviewed. A friend of mine said, hey, I was working for a photographer. And she said, we need a receptionist and I'd love for you to come on board, for our title company. And I said, what's title? And I had no idea. And she said, it's 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. It's a great opportunity for you to learn and grow, and you'll be able to move up quickly. So just come on board. And I said, all right. And I did it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you started as a receptionist and now you're the team lead for the investor section.
Yep, a receptionist, processor, warehousing, did it all. I didn't close it, but I have gone in and done the closings. Those girls have a tough job. I get to do the fun stuff. I get to make sure people enjoy what they're doing and get more business. So that's the fun part now. Once I got to the sales side, I didn't look back.
I have some bad news for you.
Oh.
Your video locked up.
I know. There we go.
Okay, now we're back. Oh, we'll edit that part out.
Yes.
So let me step back. Let's answer that question again.
Okay.
So tell me, why did you choose the title insurance business?
So title insurance really chose me. I had a friend who was working in title and she said, do you want to come work for this company? We need a receptionist and it's a great opportunity for you to learn and grow, learn like a real career. I was working for a photographer and she said, it's Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. You'll learn a lot. You'll learn about real estate and you'll get to grow. And I said, okay. So I did it and I started as the receptionist, did warehousing, did processing, did all of the above, and then got into the sales side and didn't look back.
Gotcha. So, all right, let's talk about title insurance and why is it needed?
So title insurance is needed to clear the title. That's our job, is we want to make sure that, if I'm selling a property to you, that everything's been cleared out. So Michael, you don't inherit anything that I have, left on the property, any liens or any debts or anything outstanding on it. So it's important. You can do a quit claim deed process. I get asked that question a lot. Should I quit claim deed it or should I do, a full blown title transfer? And I say, one, you don't know what you're inheriting. So if you really trust that seller, then there's an option to do quit claim deed. If it's maybe a son to, parents or vice versa, there's still some more investigating I would always ask them to do with a title search. But title is important because it voids the title insurance if you do a quit claim deed as well. So, which I guess is another conversation. But clearing the title and making sure that everybody has done their part of the contract is our job.
Now, for people that might not understand what that problem can be, what happens if somebody installed a fence and it's not on the property line? Let's say that my fence is 6 inches on somebody else's property.
So it's an encroachment and it's something to look at. And it's something that, you can sign a hold harmless and maybe let the parties agree to still have it there if they're okay with it. Maybe it's been there 30 years and nobody cares. But there's also, what if somebody new comes in and then they have an issue with it if they go to put a fence up? So it's an encroachment on it, and the survey will show you where the markings are and where everybody's boundaries are.
We actually have a property right now that the fence is about 3 feet on the neighbor's lawn. And he didn't force us to move the fence, but he does mow that section of our grass every week.
Oh, wow. Well,
I guess maybe he thinks that if he mows it, then we can't claim that he abandoned it or something. I don't know.
Right. I don't know. At least just be nice about it. I'd probably stop and be like, that's yours.
Hey, yeah, we're talking about like 2 feet, but it goes for like 100 feet. But anyway, yeah, he comes out of his lawn, comes around the other side of the fence and mows it.
Aw. Good figure it out.
It's a creative business.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what type of closings can you handle?
So we do subject to, double close, we'll do creative, seller financing, wholesale, you name it. So we're gonna, walk everybody through the process and make sure they're doing the best option for that closing. Because sometimes with my investors, they look at the deals in different ways, which way is the best way. And so we can handle traditional, fix and flip, you name it.
Question, when you say double closing, is that a simultaneous closing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's just words.
It's just words, interchangeable. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to be sure. And then the other thing, have you ever done options?
We can't. As a company, we don't do the options. Yeah.
Okay, so no options. Okay. Why do some title companies say wholesale transactions aren't legal? Now, I actually met somebody about three weeks ago from Missouri, and he told me that they actually outlawed wholesaling in Missouri. And I'm like, well, that doesn't sound right, but okay.
Right. Actually, that doesn't sound accurate because I have one of my bigger investors who does a lot in Missouri.
There we go.
And so I can't personally close him, but he's in my office every week telling me different, projects and stuff that they're doing up there, different properties. So I don't know about the Missouri, but a lot of title companies think that it's illegal because they don't understand it.
Yeah.
And honestly, we get a lot of other title companies refer us business because they say, oh yeah, I can do it. They want to get you in the door. And then they get a couple steps into the process and they're like, we can't close this. None of this makes sense. Or I've had them where they blow up the deal, where they alert all parties. With wholesale, you have to be really, aware of making sure, proprietary information stays with that person. So when we get sometimes, from another title company, it's because they've just let all parties know everybody's business, and it was not good. So
no,
they just don't understand it. It's a different animal.
That's something I've learned, not just, in the real estate business. And I don't want to pick any other professions, but when you run out of education, that's when people say it must be illegal.
Right. Yeah. They just don't understand. You got to educate them,
Yeah.
And a lot of my investors go, I don't have the time to educate my title company on how to do this.
That's why you're paying the title company. I'm not going to pay you to learn.
Right. Let us do our job. You do yours. Yeah.
And again, not disparaging anybody, but that being said, that might not be their core business. So you want to go find somebody, a team member that, can handle things, handle tractions smoothly the way they should be done.
Absolutely.
It's all about having the right team member.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then, to get around that, what we're really talking about for people that might not understand the difference between a wholesale closing where you're just assigning a contract and then a double closing or a simultaneous closing. And tell me if I'm wrong, wholesaling is when your buyer knows how much money you're going to make on the deal. When you do a double closing, the buyer that you're flipping the contract to or the property to does not know what you purchased the property for.
Right. So double close, a lot of people have kind of a threshold. And they say, if I'm going to make, 10,000 or more, I don't want anybody to know and have an issue with it. Right. So I'm going to close it with the seller in the morning, and then in the afternoon, close it with the buyer. But it's all funded from that end buyer. So there's no money out of pocket type of thing. But the closing costs are charged to you on the settlement statement and taken out of your fees. But every, investor has a different threshold of what they consider to do that too. I
have a tool that I call deal. the name of it is Deal Machine, and
Yeah.
they give you familiar with it?
I am, yeah.
Okay. And there is a gentleman that I'm going to be interviewing who, on his 7-day free trial, picked up a deal and made $58,000 in 7 days.
Wow. That's
That
awesome.
probably would qualify for the simultaneous closing.
Absolutely.
Your buyer might be a little irritated that you're making 60 grand off of him.
Yeah. Well, I have somebody right now who is in the 6-figure range for a wholesale deal. And
I'm assuming that's a commercial property.
it is commercial.
Yeah,
and they're getting ready to do that double close because, obviously we don't want everybody to know. So
exactly. So and people that don't, have never heard of these or have never done one, this is why you do it. If somebody, again, sees you're going to make $5,000 or $10,000 off of a deal, they're like, oh, that makes sense. That's a fair fee. But if you're making 6 figures on a deal, they might get a little irritated with you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And
that
can
wait a minute, I need to do that myself.
But that can squelch the deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's why you double close it, just to kind of make sure it's secure, all that.
Yeah. And to answer Bobby Joe's question, some people are very, very good at marketing. Some people are very, very good at being transaction and engineers. And then some people are very good at rehabbing and selling.
Right.
Most people are not good at all of them.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
If you're good at marketing, getting in deals and structuring, being a deal engineer, those are the people that can walk away with 6-figure checks. I've done it myself personally.
Yeah.
I think the most I ever made on a deal was 140,000.
Good for you. That's
It
awesome.
wasn't a flip though. That was a 3-year project.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I'm saying is, be good at what you're good at.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So let's get back to title closings. And we can talk about the different types, like wholesaling. How long does it normally take to close a wholesale deal?
Well, honestly, it's as quick as needed. I really find that my good wholesalers are going to talk to the sellers. How quickly do you need to close this? Are you in a hardship? Is this something that we need to close quickly? Or, they can take up to a couple months. It depends on really, what is on the title. So if there's a lot of issues that we have to clear, then the HOA can take a little while. It can take up to 8 to 12 days, depending if there's an HOA on it. Right now seems to be the bigger issues are the solar panels.
Solar panels.
Yeah, because the leases, and then there's a lot of issues on it. And they're taking a little bit while to clear from the solar panel companies to give us what we need to clear the title. So I've had a couple hiccups lately with that.
With solar panels, I never would have known that.
Yeah, and even on the traditional market, I have realtors who they go to a house, they see the solar panels on it, they actually tell their buyers, fair warning, this is going to be a headache. Letting them know. So I always say, just be careful with the solar panels. But no, it's really just a matter of clearing the title. Now, we don't like to do this always, but we closed one the other day in 12 hours. So we have our own in-house search department, so we can do it pretty quickly. It's just a matter of what's on title and if there's big issues to clear, or if there's a number of people that we have to get a hold of. Maybe there's 12 people on title because it was probate and they all inherited it. Those are some other issues too.
Speaking of having good team members, I actually did a rehab. It was a pre-foreclosure, and the law firm that I had engaged didn't do this full time. And I think that they had some personal feelings about, the transaction, and they didn't understand it. And they waited till the day before the foreclosure hearing. And I finally called them up on the phone and said, we got to get this done today. And they got irritated.
Oh, really?
But they had dragged their feet for a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, you have to jump in. I actually ask my investors, if you've got a property that is hot, that it's going to sell quickly, send it to me. We'll go ahead and get the search started and we can start clearing any issues out. We don't like to do it always because if it cancels, then we have all those fees.
Yeah.
However, we will do it just to kind of get the ball rolling, especially with our really good clients that we know they're going to get closed.
Right. So other than wholesale deals, simultaneous closing, subject twos, what's the time frame on those?
Same, very same. Yeah. So really just a matter of all parties. We've got one, that really big one right now with the 7 figures. They're at, I think, they're going to do 8-day closing. So
8-day closing, and he's going to walk away with a 6-figure check.
Yeah.
That's not a bad business to be in.
No, not at all. He's like, can we do this before the end of the year? I'm like, I think we can make that happen. So
Nice. Love it. So let me ask you, we talked about, the speed of closing titles that can happen pretty quickly, but what are some issues that can typically hold up a title?
HOA biggest. You got to remember, not all the HOAs are these big management companies. Sometimes it's just some homeowner in there who took on the presidency, and we've got to try to track them down. Many years ago, I remember I had to go find the neighbor and knock on doors to try to track this guy down because we just needed this one letter for the estoppel to get it released. But they could be working other jobs. They could have a number of things. So the HOA is usually the hardest. And then depending on who your bank is, sometimes these payoffs are taking a little while right now because the lenders are inundated and their payoff department is maxed out. Everybody's trying to sell and do this, so they don't always get it to us as quickly. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, I kind of feel sorry for those people at the bank sometimes when you actually sit down and talk to them and they've got 150 files on their desk.
Right. So, and then, just typical liens, if there's any issues that's outstanding or crazy on it that we have to clear.
Gotcha. So what do we need to get started?
I just need an address. Get me started with an address. I'll start pulling it. If you have seller's name, I always like to get from my investors who the seller is, who they're talking to, because I have found sometimes that's not the right owner. And I found that for them and called them and said, hey, that's not who we show when we did our search. It's not who we did. And sometimes it was a clerical issue where they actually own the property next door and never knew. So then that opens up a whole nother case. Or sometimes it's, oh, wow, that's the tenant and he's been lying to me and I had no idea. So I would like to get the name and the contract if we have it, and then the address.
Wouldn't a simple search on the property appraiser's website solve that problem?
If they're doing that, yes, but not all of them. Sometimes they get a little quick and excited and say, go ahead and pull a search on this. I'm going to go meet with this guy, this afternoon, and they don't have a clue.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can tell you, just in my opinion, a quick 2-second search on the property appraiser's website will let you know if you're talking to the right person.
Exactly. Now they have had tenants who have said they were that person and realized.
Oh,
that's happened too. 19 years, I've seen some stuff.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, so how can we partner?
So I love to partner with, honestly, I like people who are, green. They need a little guidance with investing. Anybody who wants to learn the process, I like to help that. I like the seasoned guys too. Those are awesome because we can just kind of help each other with lead resources. I love to refer out my clients all the time because I'm having conversations daily with realtors, lenders, other wholesalers, other investors, and they'll talk about a project. And I say, wait a minute, I know somebody else is buying a mobile home park over here, or have been looking to buy a mobile home park, and I can kind of connect them. So I like to be the connector with everything. So tell me what, a good referral is somebody who, just wants to learn the process, wants to kind of be educated on it. I can help them with that, but also to tell me a little bit more about what they're doing so that I can maybe open some doors for them and help connect them in those ways too, so we can grow together.
Gotcha. And I will ask you when we get done here how people get a hold of you, and then we'll put a link down below.
Okay.
But referrals is the name of the game. Just pro tip, people: if you get a referral, do what you say you're going to do, because you screwed up that relationship one time, you wish you didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
What tools do you use to help investors?
So we have a lot of lead resource tools that we're going to help you to generate more leads, help to find cash buyers, help to find properties. So we use, PropStream, stuff like that. We can kind of help partner with you on some of those marketing tools. But also we have social media. We have a great in-house videographer. We're going to help promote you and blast you out, and kind of, I always say people need to know what you do and how you do it, and make videos and marketing. And so we're going to help you to kind of grow that. I learned a very long time ago in this business that I have to show you how to get more before I can ask you for that first contract. So I need to be of value to you.
Okay, let's talk a lot more about this. You have an in-house videographer. What does that person do?
So I've got somebody who travels the state. I just have to coordinate it. And if you go on my YouTube channel, I actually have a highlight on there for one of my realtors. And we'll just spotlight you. It's going to be co-branded, so we're compliant. So we'll be in there kind of doing an interview too. But he also does other things where he can showcase, a property, showcase you. I'm looking for a couple of investors. I want to start a whole series that I'm getting ready to do on, like houses that are just like crumbling, kind of like a twist on the whole MTV Cribs type of thing. So, kind of just showcase these properties that you guys go after. But yeah, he's awesome. You can check out some of his work. He's phenomenal on the YouTube channel, and he'll do testimonials for you for other clients. Like if you have a closing, he'll go and get their video testimonial, because people don't believe the written word anymore. They want to see somebody and hear them, say how awesome you are, kind of thing.
Yes, folks, guess for the audience, I want to let you know that this is a service that I will absolutely be tapping into.
Please do. I'd love it.
And the reason why is because when I'm asking for video testimonials at closings, it's usually with this.
Yes.
So if I like, hey, here's my videographer. What do you think?
Yeah.
Makes you look more professional and you get a better product.
Right. Yeah. Well, behind me, we have our boxes that we give at closing. It's a big champagne bottle and a big, we make it like a little, party type of thing for them. So it's great because they're really excited and happy, and we can video that too.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So the closing box goes to the seller.
Yes. Yep.
Oh,
so we've got sellers and buyers, and I'll try to do, if you've got a good end buyer you want to press too, we can do that too. So.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah. Maybe they'll buy more.
Folks, she's got it going on. Okay, so let's get into some of the nitty gritty. What type of contracts are needed for wholesaling?
So I have a lot of people who still use the traditional FAR bar contract, and they just do may assign on it. I have a lot of people who go through their attorneys and have one drafted up. We have an in-house attorney, so he is able to help draft that, because a lot of people like it customized. There's different worries or concerns, or maybe they've been burned on something, so they want to make sure that piece is added to their contracts. And I will tell you, because my girls in the office, my closers, they're awesome. They've done this so long and they understand it. They'll get a contract over and they'll say, hey, Mike, it looks like you are actually buying the property, or it looks like you're paying for this and you're paying for this. And they realize, oh no, that's not what I needed. They'll go back and have the contract, redone, because maybe they had agreed to it, but they didn't write it correctly on their contract. So that's something that will kind of help walk them through a little bit as much as we can legally.
Gotcha. I have used this example a couple times, 3 weeks ago. I mean, this is this is Florida. I had a gentleman from Miami who owned a property in Lakeland, Florida. The house was tore up. I asked him, what he wanted. He said he wanted to sell it for the assessed value. Mm-hmm. So okay. I said, fine. This is like 2:00 on a Tuesday. Except it was raining here in Lakeland. Now, I'm a little bit old school. I want to look at it before I commit myself to it. So I told him it was raining. I'll take a look at it. I went and looked at the property at 8:00 in the morning. I had sent him over the contract at 9. He got back to me at 11 and said he had already sold this to somebody else.
Oh no.
Well, wow. It happens. It happened. I've been doing this for over 20 years, so I've seen this dance before.
Oh yeah.
But what was interesting is I had another person I was interviewing who said, in this market, send over the contract, but just put in language that says you've got to write a refusal after inspection, within 24 hours.
Right.
That way you could have locked it up and then still been able to look at the property. I'm like, you know what? Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. So that's the kind of thing that we could send over to your attorney and take a look at our contract, our purchase contract, and your attorney could just throw that in there.
Absolutely. And I get that all the time, because I'll have people send me, hey, can you search this property? And then an hour later, I get it from another investor, the same property. and I know they're both talking, I have to stay, impartial, but I'm like, hey, whoever, y'all just make sure y'all lock it up. I just tell them both, because I don't know who's got, who talked to the guy first, how they're handling it. But it's interesting to see, because there are so many investors out there, not to say there's not enough business, but there are so many out there focusing on the same areas, that you want to make sure that you've got everything in place to lock it in, lock that deal.
So people are calling you up to investigate a property prior to getting a contract.
Yeah, sometimes they want me to go ahead and pull a search. It's not usually the wholesalers or anything like that, but if they want to shop the deal pretty quick. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now I got to ask, why would somebody do that?
They want to know what they're getting into, or sometimes if they're buying it for themselves, they kind of want to, see it for sure. I've got some fix and flippers that, hey, take a look at this. But then I also they're competing against one of my other guys, and they all go into it at the same time. I'm like, where'd you get these leads today? Because they're all the same ones. So.
Okay. All right.
Happening.
Okay. So when it comes to people doing business with you, what would you say your ideal client is?
I guess kind of like what I said before, I love the green, want to learn, eager to learn this process, that I can help guide along the way. I find my most loyal clients are the ones that are like, hey, you helped me in the very beginning, helped me get my feet wet, taught me the steps I needed to take, gave me the right, influencers, the right connections. And I learned so much from you. I'm loyal to the day I die.
Right.
I love the season guys too. Those are fun, and those are great because they get to see how different we are as a title company and what we can do to stand out from the other title companies. But I love the green ones too. And I love now, everybody knows I work a lot with investors. So I have so many of my traditional real estate guys that'll take me to lunch and say, okay, hey, I want to pick your brain about investing. I want to get into it, because everybody wants to become an investor, right? So they want to learn more and grow. So I like to just help. That's kind of my spirit about me, is I want to help others and help them grow and prosper through this. So
the heart of service. I know it well.
yes. Not for the faint of heart.
Yes. Can you talk to a seller to ease their comfort level for these types of transactions, especially the ones that are in trouble? The pre-foreclosure people, they're freaking out. They're going to lose their house, and they don't know. Most of them don't know what to do.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. We do that a lot in the very beginning, especially with the guys we've worked with for years. They're like, hey, this seller doesn't trust me or needs me to kind of just understand that we're not kind of ripping them off. They want to know that we're actually legit. This is a good process. And I'll pick up the phone, I'll call that seller and ease them a little bit, just to kind of say, hey, this is, we're a Fortune, whatever company, been around for however long. I think we're at 11 years now. And we know what we're doing. Here's the steps. Here's how this is going to work, and just kind of give them that comfort, because anything that is new and different to them is going to make them think that it's wrong. So we want to make sure that they understand the process and they feel good in it, because then they'll accept it.
The other thing too is I find that subject to can be so confusing, because there's a ton of paperwork, that it's nice to have somebody else explain it to them.
Absolutely. Yeah. When they hear it from us and they hear our closers, they're like, okay, this is not something out of the norm. People do this all the time.
Yeah. And a lot of people say to me, like, why would somebody leave a mortgage in their name when somebody else owns it?
Right.
So,
well, hey, I mean, people do it all the time, and it's a great way to, use that money, resources somewhere else, and to have somebody else paying your mortgage for you.
Well, the other thing too is that what I found is you generally find that in people that are going to lose the house anyway, and they've gotten so far down the line that their credit's been dinged all the way.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Yeah. So what I explained to them is, by leaving it in your name, we're going to start making the payments on that mortgage. It's going to rehabilitate your credit.
Right. Oh, absolutely. They have to save their credit. And I tell so many of my investors that make sure that you're helping them too. You're helping them, because even if they lose the house, they have to go rent somewhere. They have to do something to, keep their credit good. So anything that if you can do something creatively to help them, then that's the best case scenario.
Cash for keys.
Yep.
I mean, if people are struggling to pay their mortgage, they probably don't have money to move.
True.
Helping them move, helping them solve that problem. It's a win-win-win all the way around.
Yeah, you're a resource for them. And that's why some of my great investors, they put out videos about how many people they've helped, what type of scenarios, because if you use Facebook or Instagram, they kind of lock down some of the key words that you may say because they say it's hardships. You don't want to go into somebody with a hardship. But if you put a story out there of somebody you helped through this process, what they were going through, you'll find there's a lot of other people going through that too, and they'll engage more with you.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it's like I like to say, we as real estate investors, everybody thinks, oh, we're just in it to make big checks. The only people that make big checks are the people that solve big problems.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have gone through all of my questions. Is there anything that we've missed that you want to share with our audience?
I mean, honestly, just, know I'm here as a resource. I want to talk to me. I love being in here for 19 years doing title. I love when I hear something different or a question I haven't heard. I get excited and the girls in my office laugh because I'll go, hey, how do we do this? Or what does this mean? And they're like, why are you so excited? I'm like, because it's something different. I get to hear something new. So I love to just be that resource and come to me, ask me a question. I'll tell you, I don't know, but I'm going to find out an answer and I will go research it and I'll, get back to you. So, look at me as a tool, an extra one in your pocket to just pull out and say, you know what, I have this deal. How can I structure it? What can I do? And call me.
Awesome. Okay. So you've referenced that you've been in this business for 19 years.
Yes.
Someone told me that real estate doesn't go up forever.
Real estate what? I'm sorry, cut out.
Real estate doesn't go up forever.
Right.
So now I want to ask you the big question.
Uh-oh.
Which I ask all the speakers.
Okay.
If your business crashed yesterday, in other words, 2008 happened all over again.
Right.
What would you do today, tomorrow, and the next day, step by step, to rebuild your business?
I guess I'd go back to basics. Well, first, I would probably cry for a second, wake up in the morning, have a big cup of coffee, and say, let's pull up our bootstraps and let's get going. I would go back to basics. I would start with, cold calling. I'd start reaching out to maybe, if my industry suffers and it completely crashes, then I know a lot of other people with realtors, investors are all crashed too, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to have to refocus and rebrand what their needs are. And I'll find out. I will start cold calling. I'll start, hounding everybody in Central Florida, seeing what their needs are and going from there. I'll make videos. I'll start marketing. I feel like video is the biggest way to get, your name out there, get information out there. They want to engage with you. People like to work with people they like and know and trust, and they're only going to get that through video. So, this opportunity is great to be able to get that to a larger crowd and kind of show them who you are. And so that's what I will do. I'll start making videos, marketing to them, and literally grassroots. Let's see what their needs are and start, hounding in on this new world that we would all be living in.
Exactly. So I think that's a fantastic answer. I think that you've given our audience a tremendous amount of value. I want to thank you so much for being on this interview.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity, and I look forward to meeting some more of you. And I really thank you, Mike. I appreciate it.
Speaking of that, how can we find out more about First International Title, and specifically, how can people contact you?
So I think you're going to have a link for my information. I have a link tree with a QR code. Perfect. So just, go on that QR code. It's got all of my social media platforms on it. It's got my YouTube channel. And you can go to firstinternational.com and you can find us. We have over 37 offices in Florida alone and New York as well. So you can connect with us any of those.
This has been a tremendous interview. Thank you so much for sharing all your great knowledge with our audience.
Thank you. I really appreciate this opportunity. And I do look forward to meeting some more of your audience members too.
Thanks. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.